Hey. Okay, well, I was looking through some reviews from people I follow on here a few days ago and came across a mention of a film called Last Radio Call, which is a found footage movie by writer-director Isaac Rodriguez. While watching the film, I thought, this seems familiar. I think I may have seen this. So I checked the film out, and it's on YouTube for free at the moment. And I thought, shit, yes, I've seen this. So, having given it another look, I thought, why not review it? The film tells a simple enough story. A cop, played by Jason Scarborough, and his partner go into an abandoned hospital after getting a call. One of them goes missing, and his wife decides to find out what happened to him. In telling the story, Rodriguez does everything a found footage film should do, in my opinion, really. It's short, clocks in at just over an hour. It has very few people in it, and the main character is very well acted by the hauntingly beautiful Sarah Froelich, or Froelich, or however you pronounce that, who plays the role of a cop's wife who has lost her husband very convincingly in terms of both her look and her mindset, really. She conveys the desperation of that very well. I'm not going to say too much more about the story because it's well worth watching, but in my view, this is one of the better found footage movies out there, particularly of the low-budget, independent variety. The rest of the cast give, I guess you could say, different kinds of performances than one usually sees in cinema. Although I feel the performances are fairly realistic. I mean, the guy who plays the shaman, for example, seems like he's phoning it in, but then would someone who spends all their time engaged in studying the spirit world be kind of wooden? And honestly, I think they may well be. They'd probably see this world as less real, and thus may become less concerned about navigating it smoothly, really. It's like the criticism of how Anakin Skywalker was portrayed in the Star Wars prequel trilogy, I think. The character was almost a savant of the Force, so I think it makes sense that his social skills wouldn't be top-notch, and in that sense it was a decent portrayal of a character. The few other characters in the film are played well. We have Ali Al-Khafaji, who plays the missing cop's partner, Giles, while the only other characters of note, really, are the shaman, Benny, played by Kiki Suki, and the rather spooky Mary, who's played by June Griffin Garcia. The villain of the piece and the effects are done very well, considering the budget the production had to work with. I couldn't find out how much it cost, but it couldn't have been that much in relative terms. While the score has the discordant feel of a film like Session 9, for example. At the end of the day, as I say, this is very much an independent movie and a solid one at that. What I really like about the film, though, is that it doesn't try to be too clever or to reinvent the wheel, and it doesn't try to be the Blair Witch Project. If anything, it's closer to a film like Grave Encounters, particularly towards the end, where the camera goes into night vision mode and things start happening with time, etc., etc. Its minimalism is most definitely its strength. I mean, there's no big preparation as if it's some sort of mini vacation. There's no big setup at the locations themselves, and no adversarial dynamic between the characters for the most part. It's just a couple of people with a camera, led by a woman who is not going to stop until she finds either her missing husband or what happened to him, and I think there's a truth to that. Some of the footage near the very end of the film, though, does feel a bit repetitive, in my view. It feels like we see the footage from the cop's body camera a little too much. But, I mean, we only see it twice, the incident where the guy gets lost, so it's probably a pacing issue more than anything else. And there's a scene around the 20-minute mark where Sarah is kind of I think she's drunk, she's upside down talking to the camera after the crew have supposedly left, which doesn't really make sense, because surely they'd, take the camera with them. But the last shots of the film are creepy in the kind of old-fashioned way that I haven't really seen in film for a long time, which was quite refreshing, really. And the story is believable on some level, which was important if the film was going to keep the viewer invested. I mean, Rodriguez obviously spent time getting the story right, which there's no real substitute for, particularly when a limited budget is involved. At the end of the day, then, Last Radio Call is a film that does what it set out to do, ultimately. I mean, it has mystery, it's scary in places, mostly in the right kind of way, and it doesn't try and explain too much, which allows the viewer's imagination to fill in the gaps and to imagine what situations were like both in the past and in some ways in the present as well. In short, then, if you like found footage films, it's well worth checking out, in my opinion. And it certainly deserves better than the 4.0 it got on IMDb the last time I checked. But then they don't even list the whole cast on the IMDb page, so I suppose that's to be expected in a way, really. It's also free on YouTube at the moment, which is always a bonus, and I'll leave the link in the description and the comments for those who want to check it out. As always, though, and with all the above being said, please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and all that other good stuff, and I shall speak to you soon. Cheers for watching, and bye for now.